Hello. In this video, what we're going to do is come back to our IKFK shape here. Let's set this to 5. Should put that right back in the center. And now what we're going to do is take these nodes and we're going to delete them. And we are also going to delete our constraints. So let's just take these and I can just grab them here and hit delete. Okay, so now we're going to look at ways to map all this up without even using constraints. And we're going to do this using blend colors. Okay, so let's come back to thigh. Let's reset the rotation there. These should both be 30 and negative 30. Okay. All right. So this one, it's also easy to set up, and it's really to set up actually. However, you have to do it for each particular limb. So what I'm going to do is just show you the thigh. And I'm showing you that with the understanding that you would need to do that for all the joints all the way down the chain up into, you would need to do the toe unless there's something on the end of the toe you want it rotating. Okay, so for that, I'm going to click on each thigh bone. Add them. Let's make them, expand them all. Okay, so what's going to be happening here is I'll be taking the thigh, taking the thigh from each, and I'll be mapping their values, the IK and the FK thighs, and I'll be mapping them into the thigh. So my conduit to map these two, tab, and I'm going to grab the blend colors. And it's this blend colors node that I'm going to use to blend between these two attributes. Okay, so we'll take the rotate for IK and we'll put it into color 1 here. And when you do that, it creates this unit conversion node. It's no biggie. Do the same thing here for color 2. Grab the unit conversions. Put them over here. Now's a good time to select all these and hit P to pin them. Okay, and the output, let's take the single value here, is going to go into rotate. And that works to just take the single value because it's actually contains all 3 values. And so we've got our unit conversion here that's taking care of that stuff for us. Okay, so now how do we control this? Well, that's done with this blender attribute. Okay, so if we were to come up to the blender and middle mouse drag between 0 and 1, you see we get our nice switch here, and we don't even have to use constraints. So this is fabulously clean. So now what we're going to do is take our IK to FK switch, and we'll hook that up to the blender. And if we click on the IK to FK switch, middle mouse drag, And we can see now that we're going round and round and round. That's because this value again is 10, and we need it down to between 0 and 1. Now we could easily just change this value to 0 to 1 instead of 0 to 10. But a way around that is just like we did in the last video. Tab, we can do a remap. You can do a remap value. And again, I'm going to want to rename these, so we'll call this Phi BC for blend colors. So again, we'll need this same setup for each joint down the hierarchy. That's the downside of this method. For this will be our Phi and I'm not sure if I chose the right node here. I'm going to delete this and tab again. Remap. I think I might have accidentally selected that one. This one. Here we go. Okay, so I'll name this Phi, and I will call it RV, or remap value. That way I can do a search later if I want to search for these nodes, and that way I can find them. Okay, so again, we'll take the output, and this will be the input value. And I'm going to break that connection. Once again, we'll go to the attribute editor, Control A, or this button there. I've got it docked over here. Okay, so our input min and max, set that 10, output 0 and 1. So now I'll take the out value and plug that into the blender. And once again, we grab our controller here, go to FKIK. So that is another way to map these. Okay. Okay, IKFK. All right, now I also want to show you yet another way to map this. Okay, so right now I'm going to break this connection. And let's break this one as well. And I just clicked on it to break it. Okay, so if you haven't noticed, I've called this an IKFK dial. Okay, and so the idea is that I can turn this into a dial switch. Okay, so if I'm at, say, 0, so I'm thinking maybe 60 degrees would be a good value to turn it. Okay, so I'm going to set that at 0. I'm going to come back in here and let's go to the attribute editor again. Now I've got the shape node selected. Let's go up to the transform node. Here's where we have our transform information, and we're going to go to limit information and go to rotate here. Okay, so this is rotating on the x-axis. So we want to put limits on the y and z, and I've got 0 here, so if I just click on the arrow, that'll send this 0 to that way. and that way, so these are all locked out at 0. Now my minimum, I'm going to also set that for the X, and that's going to be 0. And my maximum, I'm going to set that at 60. Okay, so then if I go here to my dial, if I try to rotate it, it's only rotating in X, and it's going to 60. Okay. So we're going to take the IKFK dial, and this time we're going to take the rotate X, and we'll connect this into the input value. And now we'll have to change the parameters of our remap value. So this is going to be 0 to 60, and again 0 to 1. So now if we just take this value and hook it up to the blender's input, so now we can come here to our dial, and we can just rotate that dial, and that's going between IK and FK, or 0 to 1. Okay, so you notice that as I turn the dial, it goes to FK, so it's going the way I want it to. It's starting at IK, and I turn the dial, and it'll go to FK. If this arrow was reversed, or these orders reversed, well, then how would I deal with that here? Well, I could just put another reverse node in coming out of here, and that would just reverse the rotation if I wanted to do that. And so what I could do is create a bookmark, and we can call this phi remap. And then we'll just duplicate this graph for the knee, ankle, and foot. We can also come under tabs and rename the active tab to phi map. And just keep in mind we need to do that for. So I hope you enjoyed this, and these node connections make sense. Have fun.